All right, we see now that this is a pretty neat process that generates a unique company code for us based on some part of the company name and a unique number that's ever incrementing, so it'll always be unique. It'll never duplicate itself until we get to 9,999. And at that point, well, if we're a big enough company that we have more than 9,999 customers, we just possibly start out using a different code. Maybe our code in our control file would be a 5-digit numbers, going up to 9,000, going up to 99,999, or even 6 digits, 999,999. We can, depending, if you're going to have a company with more than 1 million customers, then you're probably Amazon.com or Con Edison or some electric company that has, huge other ways of generating unique account numbers. And there are many different ways. This is just a concept, by the way, remember, just showing a way to possibly get a unique number. And it's been working pretty neat. However, there are some problems. Let's go look at this now. If we hit enter and we go look at that, let's just look at some names here. In fact, what I want to do is this. We know that on this name, for instance, it would grab MERR and it'd stick the next unique number to it, and on and on and on. But what would it do if let's go through the index and go to company and ask for the lowest company on file. Here's see what this did here? I manually typed this in earlier in the tutorial. I typed in GRRO and then 0000 because I knew that I was going to eventually be we were typing in manually our cuss codes at that point. Let me press the down arrow here. Here's another record, Kate Rogo. No company name. What will our code do? Well, our code is not going to work too well on that kind of a thing. I mean, this is not going to work too good. We have to deal with this. Right now, our code is going to take the first 4 digits of the company name, if you remember, which is blank. So it's going to take mid of company, and that's completely blank. What we'll end up with is smashing the next highest customer number against nothing, because it would be blank, and we would never be able to refer to this customer code as ROG, for instance. We would just have a number and we wouldn't know where it is. Be a little silly. So what we want to do is say, if the company code is blank, let's do something else. Well, how about the company code's blank? We'll use the last name field. To do that, let's do something like this. Look at how we're filling up the first part of the cuss code here, okay, with the middle, the first 4 digits of company, and then the second part of the customer code is this unique number from the lookup file. Let's go up here and say that, let's declare a variable that we could use called first part. How about that? First part of the company code, and let's make it, well, heck, it could be 4 digits long is really all it ever has to be, right? Well, let's make it 10 digits long just so it doesn't really matter, right? I want to make it real long enough to hold what we're going to put in there. Remember that when we're done getting the first 4 digits of it, we are going to squish left this thing next to it, so it's only ever going to end up with 4 digits, period, or less. If a company name was something like ACE, ACE, the mid would get ACE space, and then we'd smash this, say, the number 1020 against it. We would, no matter what, the first part is always going to be up to 4 characters and no more. So now the deal is we want to say, we'll fill first part up. First part equals company. And then down here, we'll mid out from first part. Now, why did I make this silly change, which looks sort of silly? Okay, because now I can say, after I fill first part with company, I can test it and say, if first part equals null, in other words, if the company name was null, then first part equals last name. Is that the right map for it? Oh, it's last underscore name. All right. So this is a 2-part quick way of saying, let's try the company, and if there isn't anything in the company, then let's fill up first part with the last name, and then we'll do our operation, which is just going to happen exactly the way it happened before. Let's go see what happens, or I have an error. I probably didn't type one of the names right. Did I still get an error? I probably didn't type it right here either. Let's see. First, this is where having eyes. Oh, I have an EQ. There we go. That's illegal. I usually put equal signs with no spaces like that. You can't put an EQ on a. You have to use a real equals operator on then lines. The only place you can use the relational operators like EQ, less than, LE, LT, greater than, GT, GE, greater than or equal to, they are only good on the if line. You cannot put them on a then line, and I just did it by accident. Okay, let's run this code. If I go in here, okay, and I go to, let's see, the last name was Rogo, wasn't it? Okay, so here's Rogo. Nope, John Rogo, wrong one. He's got a company called John Rogo CPA. Obviously, if we do him, he'll work properly. Let's see. Yes, he's John 1002 now. Let's look for the next Rogo. Here's the right Rogo that has no company name. It just has their last name. Let's see how this reacts now. Escape, escape. Yes, everything looks like Ghidorah. There we go. Rogo 1003. So you get an idea of how this is working. It's working quite well. We're starting to learn how to use FilePro to our real advantage. Let's go see, though. Just really quickly check out this file one more time, and let's look at some of the codes. Let's look at some of these companies. Let's hit enter and go down to the company list. If we, you know what, I'll clear the selection set too. I'm going to clear it. Okay, and then I'm going to go use some, let's just go by index and pick, how about company? Okay. If we go down the list here, we're going to see some funny stuff in here that we might not. All right, for instance, here's the Hillier group. Here's the Ice Cream something. Here's the Valor group a couple times, different representatives from each company. That's no good. We want to deal with that. And here's another one even more strange. If we were to make, remember I typed in, if I type in a code here, I would have to type O''DE and the next unique number. Well, somebody's not probably going to remember to do that. And certainly on all these the companies, we don't want to end up with the 1001, the 1009, the 1010, because we want to be able to give some idea of what the group is when we're looking for a record of what the company is. And we know the company is the Valor group. We might think to look up VALA, but we would never think to look up THE, because THE isn't unique enough. So let's see if we can't go out to this processing and fix this. Do any of you have any inkling of how to fix it? Let me show you. I know you're going to remember that when we designed and played with edits, we wrote one called code. And the code edit threw away every punctuation and the word THE at the beginning of it. So what's the simplest way we could use this edit to throw away all that punctuation code so that, for instance, the Valor group would be moved over. In other words, we would throw away the thes, we'd throw away the space because that's punctuation, we'd throw away any periods or apostrophes like in O'Day. Let's make this variable, when we declare this variable, we'll keep it 10 characters long. No, let's make this variable 30 characters long. Why not? And we'll declare it as a code edit type. That way, when we smash the company name into it, by the way, I made it 30 characters long to match the length. I'm going to press F5 of company. So I'm filling company into first part. But as it fills in there, all of its punctuation and spaces will be taken away. And then we'll test it and say, are you blank? If you're blank, let's fill up first part, which still has the code edit on it, with last name. And if there's any punctuation in the last name or spaces like McDonald's with a space or O''day, we won't get the apostrophes and stuff. We'll just build our code from the first 4 letters of what is now a completely clean of punctuation and spaces and the word the first part. Let's see how this works. Let's go to, let's see, we had a or don't we have a last name? We had a last name or a company name, rather. Alright, here's one of the Valor group. Let's press update, escape, yes. We got Valor 1004. Here's another Valor group. Let's press update, escape, yes. We got Valor 1005. Very good. Let's see what we have here. Another Valor group. Escape, yes. Valor 106. Now, I don't know which I'm looking for when I'm looking for these guys. Let's say I want to come here and I know I want to find the Valor group. One of my representatives or something is in there, so I'll type VAL and hit enter and immediately press B for browse. And I can see that all the Valor groups are coming up pretty close in order, 4, 5, 6, etc. Very nicely done. Let's see if this works with that punctuation thing we found. I saw one company called O apostrophe D something. All right, here's the company called O'Day Construction. Let's try update, escape. Yes, that's good. We got an O'Day. Not many people remember to put the apostrophe in there if they're searching for something like this. And here's an O'Malley update, escape. Yes, we're making an O'Mal 1008. Notice that our sequential number is getting higher and higher and higher. When we ever get to 9,999 customers, we're going to have a problem. But if we're a small lawyer, say, we only have 50 or 100 customers, this would be fine. Or if we're any kind of an organization that only deals in small numbers, this is going to work for a very long time. And if not, we could do several things, and that is make the pending number 1 digit or 2 digits bigger, or we could only use 3 digits out of the name. This is just an idea and something for you to play with. The only thing I want you to do now is go to D screen, because now that we're creating this file automatically, we can go into define screen, go to screen 1, go to this particular field and make it a protected field. I haven't showed you this operator, but this field designator now says don't let their cursor into that path. Don't let their cursor into that field. It's always going to be calculated by FilePro, so don't let it in there. What else do we have to do now? We have to go to the cursor path and make sure that the cursor doesn't go in it. Because why try and put it in a field that it's not going to be allowed into? FilePro is not going to allow it into that field. I pressed escape a few times. Now the customer code is always going to be automatically created by FilePro, and it'll be unique all the time, and that's exactly what we want it to do.